Flush, you do buckaroos. How the heck are you? You know who I am, right? We've been there, Tom. I had an idea. I want to do two different versions of a martini. I want to do one fairly traditional and then one maybe not so. But I'm still talking about something that resembles a martini and not, some chocolate peanut butter espresso abomination. I had to listen to a spiel the other day about someone telling me about martinis should be pure. I didn't necessarily disagree. They're talking about a martini should only be a gin martini, while they then ordered a martini that had no gin in it and had a lot of other ingredients that didn't even make sense in a martini, but yet it was called a martini. So I guess the hypocrisy of what some folks think a martini is what interests me. For me, a martini should be a martini, right? Whether the key ingredient is gin, vodka, or another liquor for whatever reason, or for instance, it just should be a martini, right? A martini should be one liquor, chilled. It could have vermouth in it or not. It could have olive juice in it or not. But that's what a martini should be. Just that. But we've got chocolate martinis, espresso martinis, peanut butter martinis, marshmallow martinis. I mean everything served, everything chilled and served in a martini glass or a coupe is a martini. And it is. And just come up with a name for it. A martini is a martini. A martini is a pure liquor, chilled, and put in a martini glass or a coupe. In this case, I'm using a Nick and Nora, but you get the idea, right? And I said I was going to go traditional on the first one, and I am. I'm using a friend brought me a little, well, gave me what they had left of this Clocker's gin, a German gin. I thought it was very interesting at 88 proof, I do believe. I tried to read it. I need to take this in for some friends because I was going to read that until I realized it was in German. Anyways, it's a very nice, very herbal gin. So I did make a rather traditional martini with this. 2 ounces of the gin, which is what I had left. And then I used just kind of a lot of folks want a full ounce, but I use just kind of a splash of dry vermouth, and again a probably about a quarter ounce of olive juice. So it's somewhere between a traditional and a dirty. So there you go. And that's nice. That's what you want. When you're making a martini, you're showcasing whatever you're pouring, right? A martini is traditionally gin because you want to showcase those botanicals. Gin is a neutral spirit that adds botanicals to it. Botanicals, herbs, whatever. Some add some citrus, which is my so juniper. You got to have that juniper note, and it probably should be dominant. However, my favorite gins are those that balance that juniper with other herbal notes and some citrus. And if I want to take it a step further, to be honest with you, my favorite gins are those that are aged. Even for just a short time. I love barrel gins. And for me, that's when I started loving gins. When I had my first barrel gin. Oh, I dig it now. Now that it's got some oak in it, I understand. But this German gin is very nice. And as I have gotten older, and again, I started there a few years ago, getting that appreciation for gins. I've kind of worked my way up to just maybe a pure gin like this, where I can dig it, but I gotta kind of have it like this, right? I want it very well chilled. And even if you don't want the other ingredients, right? Even if you don't want the dry vermouth, or the olive juice or olive brine, if you will. You really just want the straight gin. This is how I want it served, is I want it extremely well chilled, strained off into a glass. Even if you don't want the olives in there, that's how I want it. I don't want it served over ice. I don't want to see ice anywhere near it. But I want that very well chilled and then strained into a glass. Because that I can drink. I find that acceptable. I find that very acceptable, man. anyway, anyway, I digress. Oh, yeah, actually, kind of forgot I had that. Well, I got about 2 ounces left. I might as well finish it up. So thank you, Brad, for giving me the rest of that. It was very generous of you. He gave me more than 2 ounces. I want to make that clear. I had 2 ounces left. He gave me a nice amount, and I'm drinking a little bit. But yeah, I felt like it was time to finish it off. But again, thanks, Brad. I appreciate it. It's good to have friends, right? I tell you what's odd is that I just turned 60, and I probably have the most friends that I've ever had in my life. I always intentionally kind of kept my circle small. I mean, I've never wanted to be that guy with a lot of friends because I've never wanted to, never needed it. Most of us are going to say everyone had responsibility, and that's partly true. But I've never really needed. I've never really needed a lot of people around me. Everywhere I've moved over the years, I've met people and made friends, but I haven't kept very many of them because I didn't see a need to. Once I leave someplace, I leave someplace. I've got a small handful of friends that I grew up with back in California, but quite frankly, we're not most of other than maybe two. I'm not really close with any of them anymore because we've kind of grown apart, as you should, right? I hate that. I hate. I don't know if adage or idiom is correct or phrase. I hate when folks say people never change after high school. Because if that's true, you've missed, right? Your life has been a waste. If you're exactly the same now at 60 that you were at 18, well, your life has been a complete waste because you've learned absolutely nothing. I hate when people use it. Well, people are exactly, no, they should never be. If everybody you know is exactly the same since high school, I feel very sorry for you. The only people that never change from high school are the people that peaked then, right? The class president, the athlete that never went further than that. These are the people that never change. Everybody else changes from high school. Nobody stays the same. I've always found that phrase bizarre. Nobody changes after no. Everybody changes after high school. If everybody you know is the same, you need to change your circle. There's something wrong with the people you're hanging out with. That's all I'm saying. That's all. That's a lot, Tom. Yeah, I mean it too. I mean, it's. I've heard that from folks on television. Chris O'Donnell used to say it a lot. I liked a lot of what he said about politics. But every time he said that phrase, I would cringe and think, "Damn, Chris, if you haven't changed since high school, I feel sorry for you. If everybody you know hasn't changed since high school, I feel extremely sorry for you because you've intentionally kept yourself in that same bubble and didn't allow yourself to grow. If you're the same person since high school, I pity you because you haven't allowed yourself to grow. And if everybody you know hasn't changed since high school, I pity you even more because you've intentionally surrounded yourself with people you know wouldn't grow. Anyways, anyways, I digress. I'll be right back with. Having said that, let's segue to. I'll be right back with Martini number two. So again, this is one of those things where I tried to stay fairly traditional, but I did change it up a little bit, right? I didn't use gin for this one, but I did use a clear liquor, and I used just a little bit uh, of dry vermouth. And when I say, well, I used a splash of dry vermouth. When I say that, it means I took the bottle of dry vermouth out and I waved it around a glass, and I took the lid off and I went like this. And if any of the vermouth jumped out of the bottle into the glass, I kept it. So this is what I use for this one. I use the Mule Kick moonshine from Crystal Ridge Distillery out of Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's at 120 proof. This one, when I'm talking about a martini, a lot of folks say it has to be gin, and those same people order an espresso martini. Anyways, no, I don't think a martini has to be specifically gin, but I think it has to be a martini, right? It has to be one liquor, chilled in a specific glass. If you want to add olives, great. For me, in a martini, most of the time I want olives, but you got to have something. Uh, Use the vermouth or not, use olive juice or not. I mean, I don't care. You just want a chilled liquor. And that's what I did here. I used that one. And I did use it actually. That was a joke earlier. I did use just a splash of dry vermouth. And again, a splash of the olive brine. And I used these well, it says Bloody Mary olive because they use actually I think I had them here. Hold on a second. I'll get the description wrong. They're perfect in a Bloody Mary, but I also like them in a martini from time to time, depending on the martini that I'm making. So this is the Tillin Farms Bloody Mary olives in vodka with onion and sun-dried tomato. That's why I thought they would work with this because I'm using the moonshine rather than Anyways, anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. Let me pick that up. Let's finish this up here. Yeah, moonshine is remarkably easy to drink at that 120, but I will tell you, I do like it chilled, and it's so I don't necessarily want to keep it on the rocks, but I do like it chilled. So it does serve itself well in a martini, if you will. Yep. Yeah, so I do like it in this capacity. I've done that before. I've also used bourbon, Irish whiskey. Yeah, I think if I think you can call it a martini as long as it's pure, right? You've got whatever liquor you're using, olive brine or no, dry vermouth or no. But if you got it chilled, served pure like this, it's a martini. I don't care what liquor you're using. I'm not such a purist where I think it has to be gin. However, I will say, yeah, I mean, if your martini has vanilla vodka, chocolate sauce, peanut butter, I mean, what? That's not really a martini. I'm not even sure why we're calling it a martini at this point. I mean, let's call it something, right? It is a whatever. It's a chocolate this or an espresso that, but it's not a martini. Come on, folks. What can I say? I'm old. I'm rigid. Gotta, I'm just saying, there were a time when you knew what a cocktail was. Somebody ordered a martini, you knew they were ordering a martini. They're not ordering a dinner cocktail. I mean, if it's a chocolate something or an espresso something, that's fine. Serve it however you're going to serve it. Serve it in a coupe. Just don't call it a fucking martini because it's not a martini. The second you put chocolate sauce, the second you use espresso, the second you use peanut butter, banana, the second you use raspberry, anything, the second you put anything else in there except liquor or olive juice, it is no longer a martini. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on the matter. What can I say? I'm a bit of a purist. Everybody knows that. I'm not against people making those drinks. I'm not. I mean, hey, if that's what you want to order, order it. But can we quit calling it a martini? Because it's just not a martini. It's just not. Nevertheless, nevertheless, it's not a martini. It's just called a chocolate dessert something. An espresso, wake up, whatever. But it's not a fucking martini. Unless it's just a chill liquor with some dry vermouth or not, or some olive juice or not, chilled in a glass, looking really fucking pure like this. It's not a martini. Many years ago, about well, damn close to 3 decades now. I thought I invented a drink. It might have been around before then, but I thought I invented it. I used a wild turkey rare breed with some olive juice, served it like a martini. I called it a dirty bird. I should do version of a dirty martini, so I called it a dirty bird. Get it? Wild turkey. Anyway, dirty bird. I get it. Damn, you're clever. Said nobody ever, but nevertheless. But I've since seen versions of that on menus over the years. Those sons of bitches stole my recipe. That was my idea. I didn't get a chance to get to Crystal Ridge. They're only about an hour away from where we were staying, but we only had the 3 days, and it was really freaking hot. The plan was to get there on Saturday or Sunday, actually, but I wasn't. There wasn't enough there for my wife to do, and to make her drive us out there just to haul us drunk folks around just didn't feel right. And my friend did say he wouldn't mind driving us because it's only an hour, but I didn't feel good about that either. I want to make him drive out there. Anyways, but I did have a nice visit out there. I love going to Moody Brews. Southern Tail was great. Stone's Throw was good, about the same as I remembered. But the truth is, if I go back to that neck of the woods again, I really want to visit Moody Brews again because there are other things I want to try there. I certainly want to get back to Rocktown Distillery again because wow. But Southern Tail really impressed me as well. I want to get back to those. But there were a couple, more dive places that I like to go to that I didn't get to. Um, uh, One reason it was real hot, so I really couldn't walk to the places I wanted to go to. The other was that I was kind of enjoying hanging out with a friend. It's not something I typically do. I'm that rare loner extrovert. I like people. but I like being by myself too. I like showing up places by myself and somebody saying, "Hey, Tom," and we can talk for 5 minutes, and then, but I have no obligation to stay with. But having said that, now I mean, hanging out with John the Beer Snob for a day was awesome. But yeah, I mean, I've always been that person though. I remember when my I had a cousin moved from South Dakota, moved to California, and we went someplace together. And he wasn't ready to go home, but I was, so I just said screw it and walked home. He was staying with us, and so he got back to the house the next day, and he was just pissed. Right, he was living. He was going on to my dad about how I did this and that. And my dad, my dad listened to him for a short period of time because my dad had no tolerance for stupid. My dad listened to him for a short period of time. And so said, Tom does that. When he's done, he's done. If he tells you he's ready to go, he's ready to go. And if you're going to take him, fine. If not, he's going to get home. I said, Tom's like a homing pigeon. He will get here. And then that kind of thing pissed my dad off when I was younger because I did it when I was a kid. And, I still have a scar, but less. But when I became an adult, Dad got it. So he's going to do that. So if you don't want, if this bothers you, maybe hanging out with Tom isn't a great idea because he will leave. So he will usually tell you one time he's ready to go. If it takes more than that, he's just going to be gone. And by golly, I'm still like that. Son of a bitch. Once I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And I never mind walking. I used to do that. Well, of course, I'm old fat now, so it's not quite the same. But in my younger days, yeah, I mean, I was skinny. I could move, so I didn't mind walking a few miles. I really did. When I was done, I was done. But I do think that's kind of the issue with what's going on today is that I feel people put up with stuff they know they shouldn't put up with, and I'm wondering why people don't say I'm done. But I'm not going to get into politics this particular video. That's as far as I'm going to go. I'm just going to say I'm done. I am done. Because my last cocktail, my last martini does use whiskey. I'm going to say I'm done the whiskey. Whisper, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor wisdom, all rugged guy. Sláinte. When I'm done, I'm done.